You can listen to the Canadian Gothic early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Include it with Prime.
The aerial support unit was hit with a laser. Officers on board located the suspect hiding behind an umbrella in the backyard of a residence on a...
CMP came today and he goes, I've seen things, but this is shocking.
I don't know. I think it's kind of random to me. I don't know why people would want to move to Regina.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Handsome Aaron Airport. Just like we've done for the last 215 weeks, we're here to keep Canada weird by seeking out and exploring all the unique and offbeat news stories that played out across this country over the past week. But before we get into them, let me ask you over there, in Cape Breton Island, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very well. I'm excited to be here tonight to dissect the weirder stories in Canada with you.
It is our 215th episode. You would think we would introduce the show with something like a cheesesteak or something, right? Because 215 is the area code for Philadelphia. You ungrateful for not liking the numbers, but we're not going to have a Philly cheesesteak. We're going to unveil a special drink. I got something extra special, something I've really been wanting to try. Do you want to go first and I'll build up to my extra special drink?
Oh, so you're assuming that your drink is more special than mine?
Let's find out. Show me what you got.
Okay, well, I have a Canada Dry strawberry lemonade ginger ale that is also zero sugar.
Weird, I've never seen that before.
Well, look who's eating his words now, because I have the most special drink tonight.
Flavored ginger ale is a great development in the last year or so. I've seen them popping up. I love a ginger ale. And, you add a little bit of strawberry in there, some peach in there.
And lemonade. Yeah. So, I mean, the technology is there. The future is now. And we have such wonderful flavored ginger ale now. And it's exciting. I'm going to crack it open. I can smell it already. Oh, wow. This is so special. Oh, it's so good.
I got something. I don't know if you've tried these or if you've even seen them for sale yet. Pepsi and I think all of the other pop companies. In fact, the owner of Cove talked to us about this. Pepsi and a bunch of the other pop companies are introducing what they're marketing as like a healthier alternative to their pops. This is a Pepsi prebiotic cola. What's odd is it's no artificial sweeteners, but it's not zero sugar. It's 5 grams of sugar. So it's a very low sugar pop. I've seen them around, but I've never had a chance to try one until tonight. It tastes just like regular Pepsi. I don't know how they managed to make that sweet with only 5 grams of sugar and no artificial sweetener. Pepsi, you've done it again. You've blown my mind.
Wow. And not to distract from your somewhat special drink, do you mind if I take another drink?
Yeah, go for it. Special drinks are unveiled. We got to get into the week's weird news. But before we do, one of the stories we've been covering over the last couple of episodes has really begun to spin in some interesting directions. I think it was about episode 213. We heard how Dunkin was coming to Canada, probably to compete with Tim Hortons. But what's happened over the last week is the coffee wars really ramped up, and Tim Hortons is definitely on the counteroffensive. We got to talk about it. With Dunkin's preparing to return to Canada, Tim Hortons just revealed their counteroffensive maneuvers, hiring 10,000 local workers, opening 80 new restaurants, and renovating 400 existing locations. The coffee wars, Handsome Aaron Airport, are here in Canada.
Tim Hortons has always played to its Canadian roots.
I got it. Tim Biebs.
Now, the coffee giant plans to open 80 new restaurants, renovate 400 others, and hire 10,000 local staff.
Apply today and take the first step.
It comes as Dunkin has announced plans to open hundreds of shops in Canada.
How do you like them donuts? I'm so sorry.
I think they are going after the same consumer, a younger consumer, Dunkin does represent a real threat.
The plans may also be a response to criticisms like this.
Because Tim Hortons upset a lot of people because they hired so many temporary foreign workers.
During pandemic-era labor shortages, Tim Hortons lobbied Ottawa to expand the temporary foreign worker program, but now says that's no longer necessary.
When you have such high youth unemployment and you see jobs going to people who are not Canadian youths, any company that can address that is going to gain favorability with Canadians.
Experts say it'll be a challenge for Dunkin to come in and take on a brand that's so deeply embedded in the local community. Think Timbit Soccer or Camp Day. But they say the competition will be good for Canadian coffee lovers and workers.
I think the competition is certainly going to be good for Canadian coffee lovers because this, if anything, is going to drop prices and bring an influx of new options and probably have these companies we've been complaining about, like Tim Hortons, forced to improve their product and maybe go back to basics. But what's your initial thoughts on hearing Tim Hortons obviously scrambling in front of the public with the news of Dunkin coming?
Well, it sounds like they're way off the mark in terms of their response because their initial response, so Dunkin announces they're coming to Canada, they're going to take over, they're going to compete with Tim Hortons. And then Tim Hortons responds with, yeah, well, we're going to renovate and we're just going to keep opening up stores. And it's like, that's not the problem here. The problem, like their staple product, the coffee that they sell, has gone downhill over the past number of years. The donuts as well, like everything has gone downhill there. And so their response is to not say, you know what, maybe we're going to focus on our product, make it better, make it a better quality, and then really be ready for Dunkin when they arrive. But no, they're like, yeah, we're just going to keep digging our heels in. We're going to be stubborn. We're going to open up more locations, and we're going to add dumb renovations to the locations that we already have. And that's all we're going to do.
Yeah, that news clip we listened to there really focused on their promise to hire 10,000 local employees. And that clearly is them responding to the criticism they faced for their usage and possibly, and in the eyes of some, their exploitation of the temporary foreign worker program. But anyway, as far as the renovations, this is interesting what they're planning. Tim Hortons is planning a $400 million expansion and renovation push across Canada. The plan includes 80 new Tim Hortons locations, as well as the renovation of 400 existing restaurants. These upgrades are going to include brighter interiors, improved layouts, better lighting, faster and more accurate service, upgraded digital ordering and pickup systems, refreshed baked goods showcases, and improved kitchen equipment. Tim Hortons says the updated restaurants emphasize Canadiana, local ownership, and support youth through Tim Hortons Foundation camps. So put that in layman's terms. We know what Tim Hortons does. What does all this mean? Because I know what it means in my head.
It means they're going to continue to suck. They're going to continue to not have good coffee, to not have good donuts, and they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. And they think that they're going to distract us with the bells and whistles of fancy donut displays. And what is this more accurate, like ordering?
Faster and more accurate service and upgraded digital ordering and pickup systems. To me, that implies they're just going to invest a bit more in this app. I hate when I go to a store and they want me to use an app to do stuff, especially for something as simple as ordering a coffee. It's I don't want to take out my phone and involve my phone in all this. It's just nonsense. I think that they're trying to do whatever they can, and they're certainly scared, and I'm glad to see it.
Yeah. Just make the coffee good and apologize to us sincerely.
That's what should happen.
We're sorry. We lost our way. We will make the coffee back to what it used to be, and we'll start from there. Once we get that done, once we've perfected that's what's supposed to be the main thing that we sell, then we'll work on the other things. Then we'll focus on fancy donut displays.
In better lighting. I will say that I think the Coffee Wars is going to be something we'll be following through 2027. I really think this is just about to get interesting. Before we get into the stories, though, I want to play one piece of listener voicemail. I won't say it's an excuse for us, but it's a listener who kind of understands how we mixed up the name Dunkin with the name Dunkins in our prior episode. We have a listener named Holly who thinks she knows what happened.
Hey, this is Holly, one of your American correspondents, and I'm listening to your most recent episode of Keep Canada Weird, and you guys seem hung up on the difference between Dunkin and Dunkins. And maybe it's because you're Canadian, but for many, many years, Dunkin's advertising campaign slogan was America runs on Dunkin', period. And I don't know, maybe it's ingrained into me because that's what I grew up hearing. But hearing you guys pluralize it is so bizarre. And so I am in agreement with the most recent caller and Aaron on this subject.
I guess it's the power of marketing. I wasn't subjected to America runs on Dunkin', but I did see some advertising come out that said something like Canada is going to run on Dunkin'. And I think it's that kind of marketing campaign that will convince ignorant people like me that it's not Dunkin's, it's Dunkin'. And I thank Holly for shining a bit of light on that issue and showcasing the power of marketing. Holly is the kind of fan and supportive fan of Keep Canada Weird, like the people of Philadelphia are famous for. They're famous for sports there. There's a lot of sports fans in Philly. What?
What are you doing?
215 is the area code for Philly, and I think that's interesting. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the sports fans in Philadelphia here on episode 215 of Keep Canada Weird. Let's take our first break. When we get back, we got a duo of stories that I think you're going to like. This is Stupid Crime, one of my favorite segments, after a short break. Handsome Aaron Airport. One thing that Canada blesses us with almost every week is a collection of dumb crime stories that are suitable to be aired and laughed at and gawked at and eyes rolled at here on Keep Canada Weird. And the past week was no exception. We got some good ones. Let's start with a trip to Regina, Saskatchewan. A 62-year-old man in Regina demonstrated the dumbest thing you could possibly do with a laser beam. And now he's facing some serious charges. This is a crime as dumb as it is weird. It's the dumbest thing you can do with a laser beam.
A 62-year-old Regina man is charged with mischief endangering life, alleged to have pointed a laser at the Regina Police Service's plane. Last Saturday, just before 10 in the evening, the aerial support unit was hit with a laser. Officers on board located the suspect hiding behind an umbrella in the backyard of a residence on the 2100 block of Francis Street. Officers on the ground arrested the suspect and he will make his first court appearance on June the 24th.
I think it's almost criminal how light that story is. I want a 4-part Netflix deep dive documentary into what the hell was going on with this guy, this 62-year-old man shining lasers at police helicopters. Why would you do that?
Well, he's the Penguin. That's the only possible explanation to this story. The Penguin, the umbrella was the Penguin's kind of weapon of choice. Modified umbrellas. So obviously this individual had some kind of laser umbrella. He's the Penguin. He was trying to shoot the police down or blind them while they were possibly going to thwart one of his crimes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Well, the only problem with that storyline is that I don't think the Penguin would waste his time with Regina, Saskatchewan. If this happened in a more highbrow city, I'd see it.
Wow.
Shots fired.
You've really made your feelings known about Regina.
Maybe it was the Penguin, but you hear these stories often of people getting in trouble or police looking for people who are shining lasers and the laser pointers. Apparently it's very dangerous when you're in an aircraft flying. I guess it can temporarily blind you and screw with you, but I just don't see why people would do it. It would be of every crime you could commit, the smallest reward that you would ever get is the enjoyment of pointing like a little laser pointer at a plane. Why would you do that? Like, is there a practical reason other than, if you're not the Penguin, if you're not a supervillain, is there anything that you have to gain by pointing a laser at a plane?
Maybe to impress a girl.
Maybe. Do you think that would impress a girl? Check this out, hon.
Hun.
Here's two things you can do. Of all the things you can do with a laser beam, you could impress the girl by pointing it at a plane, but imagine you pointed it at the ground and you had your cat chasing the laser. Like, that would turn a girl on.
Well, maybe she's allergic to cats.
Okay, and he's like, damn it, that's my move.
And he's like, well, there's only one other option here, and it's to blind a police plane.
I don't know if it's a plane or a helicopter, but whatever it is, of all the aircraft to shine the laser beam on, that's the one that's going to like send someone down there right away and get you. And they catch this guy in such a humiliating way. As stupid as it is to point the laser beam at the helicopter or plane, the only thing equally as stupid is to try to like hide behind an umbrella in your backyard when the cops show up.
Yeah. Yeah, because it doesn't really... I mean, they can see where the laser's coming from, and then they just see some dude behind an umbrella there. It's not like you're hiding anything, but I don't know. I mean, I'm really impressed that these little laser pens can reach aircraft.
Yeah. But I don't know if it was a little laser pen, but I
don't know.
What other laser would you get other than those little pointers?
Well, like one of the, like a gun would have like a sniper's gun maybe or something. Like maybe this dude has like one of those laser things that you would have, like a scope thing. Yeah.
I think that's probably not all that different from the little laser pointers. Like I said, I've seen countless stories like this. I've just never heard of them actually getting someone. And the fact that he's hiding behind an umbrella, that's a bad hiding spot because your legs would be exposed.
Sure. But I mean, I don't think they're going to recognize you from your legs. So he's trying, I assume he's thinking to himself, I'll hide behind the umbrella so they can't see my face. They can't see who I am.
Well,
but
the police are actually there. He's not hiding from the helicopter or plane or whatever. When the cops show up, like a cop car to arrest this guy or investigate, it's then that he's hiding behind the umbrella. What I think probably happened is he had like a patio umbrella and he went and stood under it and lowered the umbrella so it's like closed on him,
Okay. I totally misunderstood the story. I thought when he was hiding under the umbrella while he was pointing the laser.
Oh, concealing himself as he's
concealing himself while he's pointing the laser. That's why I said the Penguin had the laser umbrella.
Okay, there's very little information about this out there. Let's just listen to that moment of the clip again to see how they describe it, because they're basically reading a police press release.
Sure, yeah.
Officers on board located the suspect hiding behind an umbrella in the backyard of a residence on the 2100 block of Francis Street. Officers on the ground arrested the suspect and made his first.
They did say officers on board.
Yeah, it's not totally clear.
Is it the dumbest thing you can do with a laser?
Well, it just got even dumber because now we need to know. I mean, they fed us so little on this story. And now you and I are arguing aggressively and violently over whether or not he was hiding behind the umbrella while he was pointing the laser, or he pointed the laser, the police came down. They were in the helicopter and they had one of those like ladders that come down, and they climb down it and they're like, hey, you. And then he hides behind the umbrella. So then they'll never find me here.
In listening the second time, that cleared it up as well, that it wasn't a helicopter, it was a plane. So that'd be even higher up. I can't imagine the plane would be able to get a good enough look at this guy that they could arrest him. So someone had to show up there. I choose to think that reporter got it wrong. And when the cop car showed up in this guy's driveway, he ran in his backyard and hid behind an umbrella. That's what I'm going with. But I do want to know his motive, because I guarantee there's more to this story, and it's a shame that we can't get to the bottom of it. But I will tell you, this stupid move was not without great risk. He was charged with mischief endangering life, and that is a dead serious charge. It actually carries up to a life sentence in Canada. So that is can be as serious as murder.
Can you imagine going to jail for the rest of your life because you're pointing a laser pen at an airplane?
And hiding behind an
And
umbrella.
hiding behind an umbrella. You're going to jail for life with hardened murderers and all the other types of things that you find in jail. And this is what you did. Like, wow.
I hope it was worth it, you fool.
Yeah, well, you know. But, you know, I wish him all the best. I mean, you know, he was trying to impress a girl and he just chose the wrong thing. Love can really send us down crazy ideas. And this is just where he found himself. And I feel for him. And yeah, I hope he finds a good hobby in jail.
Yeah. Love chewed him up and spit him out under an umbrella with a laser in his hand. Let's move on to another story. This one I don't think involves love and heartbreak, but it is dumb, it's unexpected, and it's certainly weird. A preschool in Headingley, Manitoba realized it was the victim of a dumb, bizarre crime. Someone drove a truck through the fence that surrounds their playground and stole their playground. Here's the story of a stolen playground in Manitoba.
When Angie Izzard arrived Friday morning to open up her Headingley preschool, she was in disbelief.
Why would you even think about stealing from children?
First, she noticed a portion of the fence was busted open and damaged. And then an even bigger surprise. The wooden play structure, which was bolted to the ground, gone. She believes someone rammed through the fence with a vehicle, made a few cuts through the wood stilts, and hauled the entire play structure away in the middle of the night.
Like, how would someone steal a structure? It was not a small structure, it was a large structure.
So the children are without their play structure and they want to know why.
Like, did a bad man take it? Like, what happened? You know, we just kind of explained to them. Someone came into our yard, you know, they weren't respectful or kind or thinking of others. And
53 kids from 18 months to kindergarten age go here, and they weren't the only ones upset by the theft.
It's crazy to think that somebody has the audacity to come to a children's center, a children's school for little kids and steal their toys.
A GoFundMe is in the works to get a replacement play structure in place as soon as possible.
So then the kids can get their toys and actually enjoy the summer as opposed to having to wait for an insurance claim to go through.
RCMP say they are investigating.
RCMP came today and he goes, I've seen things, but this is shocking.
That is shocking. I usually say this at least once an episode, but for anyone who isn't seeing the news clip, what they steal is just like one of those large playgrounds you would see, you know, behind a school or at a daycare or something. I guess the only exception is a lot of times when you see them, they're made of metal or steel or whatever. This one is wooden, so it allowed someone to break down the fence, probably with a truck, and then with some kind of power tool, cut down the wooden supports that the whole playground sits on and hauls the whole thing out of there. This is completely shocking to me that someone would do this. Not only is it evil, it's very complicated.
It's complicated, and it's crazy to think that this premeditated theft, like it's one thing when you go into a place and maybe you're expecting to steal one thing and that thing might not be there. Like maybe you're expecting to find a bunch of money and it's not there, so you just take a bunch of random stuff. But
yeah, iPads or something.
Yeah, whatever's kind of laying around. But this isn't the kind of thing that you randomly steal. This was something they thought, I want to steal this playground, so I'm going to come up with a plan to steal that playground.
I think that makes it a heist, right? Is it a heist when it's like a planned and organized theft, probably involving multiple people?
Yeah, I think that would be the definition of a heist.
Yeah, so this was a heist because it not only did it involve a couple people, it had to. It involved a bit of a plan. It involved specialized equipment like chainsaws or some kind of power tools. It involved a vehicle like a big truck that not only could bust the fence down, but also carry the playground thing out of there. Because it looks too big to even fit in a regular pickup truck, but maybe they propped it up in the back somehow and hauled it away. This is certainly a heist, and I see a lot of commonality between this story and the ice cream theft in Cambridge, Ontario that we've been discussing. Do you see that as well?
I see a similar theme, yeah, in terms of a high value theft that has zero explanation, and to be able to attach a motive to it seems impossible.
And doesn't seem worth your time. Like the people who ended up with thousands of dollars worth of ice cream, it's complicated to store it, it's complicated to move it, it's going to be very hard to sell it. Same thing with a large wooden playground. Even just driving it down the highway, you'd think everyone would look and be like, weird, that truck has a huge playground in the back of it. But even when you get it somewhere, if you put it in your yard, the stolen playground's on the news, and you can't sell it because who's going to want to buy like a playground for a school that has the stilts cut off?
Mm-hmm. And there can't be an underground market for playground sets.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand, like when we talk about the butter thefts, how there's probably some kind of underground butter market that we're unaware of.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no way there's an underground, outdoor playset market that we're unaware of.
Yeah, 'cause what I think, maybe this is my background in insurance talking, but the only people who would possibly buy like a used, weird, shady outdoor playground would be a private homeowner, like someone who would put it in their backyard, like a sketchy person. But this is more like one that would be at a school or a playground or a daycare or something. And they would be so concerned with liability and stuff that they would never buy one that doesn't have this kind of paper trail leading back to like some reputable person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I imagine the only thing I can think is that they stole it for themselves. But I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Even that doesn't make sense. Because somebody who probably really wants that playground can probably afford to go out and buy one.
Mm-hmm. And they would have had to damage their truck. It seems like they drove a vehicle through the fence to get in there. So you're sacrificing your truck for this playground equipment. And you can buy them. Like I've been at Costco and have seen pretty nice playgrounds for, a little over $1,000 or something.
Sometimes when there's no possible explanation for a crime like this, I can only chalk it up to a dare. Somebody was dared to do this. Like, there's no way you could steal that. Like, they got onto some kind of a competitive, heated debate about, I could steal this, I could steal that, or whatever. And they got dared or challenged to be able to steal a playground set without getting caught.
That actually could explain a lot of stuff. And not only a dare, it could also be an initiation for like the world's dumbest gang. Like maybe some like organized Pokemon card theft ring. They're seeking new members to rob people through Pokemon card sales on Facebook Marketplace. You need to prove how brazen and capable you are doing something like stealing a playground. That'd do the trick.
Or another way to possibly explain this is someone who's simply just a kleptomaniac and is raising the bar more and more each time. And they started off stealing from maybe, stealing little handheld items from a mall.
Lip gloss.
Different stores, lip gloss, toothpaste or whatever. And then they just had to keep raising the bar in order to get their fix. And now they're like driving through fences at playgrounds and stealing outdoor play sets.
Wow. And I really do now think you're onto something, because a kleptomaniac, they steal not only because they want the money or the product or whatever, it's like the thrill and the rush, like they get off on it. And if you're going in Walmart and stealing shirts, maybe some meat from the grocery store, that gets pretty boring, I bet, after your 30th time. So you got to level it up a little bit. Stealing 1,000 liters of ice cream, the planning that would go into that, you would, as a kleptomaniac, you would get off on the planning, right? Like you would just be sitting up late at night, just being like, and then I'll do this, and then I'll steal it this way, and I'll move it here, and you're getting off on that, and then you do it. Same with this playground thing. This could be the work of like a group of kleptomaniac fetishists who only can get off and get excited on the most obscene thefts.
Well, it seems like they're trying to recreate their childhood if we were to connect these crimes together. So now this individual or groups, are stealing ice cream and outdoor play sets and things that they could possibly use for themselves to be able to recreate an innocence once lost.
We may need a psychologist, psychiatrist, because what is the connection between sexualized theft, their childhood?
Whoa, what's sexual here? No.
Would a
It's not
kleptomaniac
sexual.
have a kind of like a...
No, it's not
No?
sexual. No.
It's a similar part of the brain, though, because they do get a release.
Yeah, but it's like it's similar to any kind of addiction, like smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol. Like it's just something that you need to do it. You can't stop doing it because, it does release these chemicals within you where you feel a certain way when you get away with it. But I don't think it's sexual in nature at all.
I think it's more complicated than sexual. Than a sexual urge.
Yeah. I don't think it's even next door to being sexual.
No, it's like in a different dimension.
Do you want it to be sexual, or it seems like you do?
I just, you know how we talked about love doing crazy things to people?
Yeah.
I think if you had an obsession with theft and you were like in stealing in these elaborate heists and you were getting sexual gratification from it as well, that would be the motivation to have this whole thing spin so out of control that you and your kleptomaniac fetishist friends were stealing ice cream and playgrounds. Like, what's next? They're stealing like a sidewalk.
Yeah, it's just not sexual. I'm sorry. I can't meet you halfway on that.
Okay. We don't know what it is. We'll leave it to the work of a psychologist. What we do know is that this is some weird Canadian crimes that occurred over the last week, and I don't think we can understand why this guy was pointing a laser beam or why they stole the playground. How about that?
Yeah. And they may or may not be sexual, but probably and definitely not sexual.
Let's take our second and final break. When we get back, we'll move on to a segment of stories about something altogether different. We've never done this before. It's going to be 2 stories about cleaning up.
Our listeners are on the edge of their seats now. It's about cleaning up.
Handsome Aaron Airport, you've been asking for it. Every correspondent across the world has been asking for it. We're finally ready to present a duo of stories related to cleaning up. Let's start in Calgary, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Calgary. Yeah, I mean, you're the one that has problems with places. You were pretty hard on Regina earlier, so.
Actually, I don't want to get into this whole thing, but I have a reason to be upset with Regina. They just had like this kind of marketing tourism kind of campaign that took shots at Halifax for no reason. It was kind of like bashed Halifax, encouraged people to go to Regina, which was really weird because there's no connection between the two cities. Even our mayor was on the news being like, what's up with this?
Halifax, you're not opening doors for me anymore. It's time to move on. Liveinregina.com.
That's what's written on an online ad put together by Economic Development Regina to try to attract people to move to their city. But for Haligonians, it's leaving them a bit miffed.
Why Regina?
I'm
It's
confused.
so weird.
Why are they hating on my city?
Yeah, you guys suck. You should come here. Why? It's such a random city, too.
I don't know why people would want to move to Regina.
Anyway.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Let's move on. Residents in southeast Calgary living near the Shepherd landfill are going public with complaints about what they call a garbage tornado. Video being shared from the area seems to prove that when the wind picks up, it takes all sorts of mess from the landfill with it. Here's the story of the garbage tornado in Calgary.
Rain, shine, or wind, this pair pounds the pavement in Calgary southeast every day. But for the last little while, a walk along the Shepherd landfill has produced a disappointing sight. This is what a calm day along 130th Avenue Southeast looks like. But a little less than a month ago, it was a wild scene. Winds around 80 kilometers per hour were whipping thousands of pieces of garbage into the air. And at the time, folks in the neighborhood were frustrated to see it happening yet again.
It's just ridiculous here. As you can see, this is the extreme. But like I said, when the wind's 20, 30 kilometers, this is an occurrence all the time.
City crews worked to clean up the area, even being called in for overtime. But for Monique Trudeau and her husky Storm, who's got a nose for garbage herself, they still noticed the aftermath.
None of the garbage directly in the ponds ever got cleaned up, and now it's just an environmental hazard sitting there to damage the pond itself and, of course, all the wildlife.
Fencing is in place along the bottom of the landfill, and the city deploys mobile catch barriers at the top. When the wind is blowing, the city says it'll say no to certain materials or cover things up. But the area councillor says that current combo isn't working well enough.
You need a better physical barrier to stop in the case of wind.
Ward 12 councillor Mike Jamieson says he'll be meeting with the city's Waste and Recycling Services Department soon. Neighbors here are hoping the next windy walk is cleaner for humans, dogs, and everything else that calls the area home.
There's a few things that caught my eye about that story. First of all, just the term garbage tornado, that piqued my interest. Then when you see the news clip, you see just a literal tornado of like paper and plastic bags just like flying into the fences and just blowing from the landfill. That was a really weird visual. But I think ultimately what it is this just reminds me or explains to me or demonstrates how awful it would be to live right next to a landfill or a dump, because that was a horrible scene. It looked apocalyptic and dystopian.
Yeah, it must be challenging to be a homeowner near a landfill, because when you want to go and sell your home, it's you're not going to get full price for it if you're directly next door to a landfill, right?
Yeah. I think on the bright side, though, most people who live near a landfill, they probably bought the home after the landfill was already there. Like they already knew it was there and they probably got a good deal for that reason. What would really suck if you owned the home and then they announced like, we're, developing that land up by your place. It's going to be a landfill.
Yeah, no, that'd be horrible. And
living near a dump or a landfill, I would think of the smell more so. The wind's blowing towards your house, so you're just getting the smell of garbage. Like that would suck. But when there's strong wind, the top layer of garbage, especially like plastic bags and wrappers, all that stuff's going to go with it. And I say this, I've already said it once tonight, but if you actually watch this news clip, what you see is kind of you've probably walked through like a school grounds or something, and there's all like the chip bags and the wind has blown them up against the chain link fences. This story shows like that on steroids. It's this long line of chain link fence that surrounds this landfill, and the whole thing is just covered with bags and garbage just like whipping in the wind, with a bunch of it going over the top and going into the yards and the parks. Where that poor lady walking her husky, she has to deal with that and see it. And I can relate to that. I have a sweet little girl named Penny who I love going on walks with. She enjoys it. I enjoy it. We love our time together. But one thing that often gets in the way of Penny and I enjoying ourselves together is Penny will find something semi-edible on the ground, like a dead thing or a piece of food that some kid threw away, and she just can't resist getting it in her mouth. And it's often disturbing. Penny would have a hard time in those parks.
Yeah, I'm surprised this woman chooses to walk her dog there, though. So
it's a beautiful park.
Yeah, but if there's garbage tornadoes there, then why not walk somewhere else?
That's a good point. The garbage tornadoes are a huge turnoff from that park.
Yeah, it doesn't matter visually what the park looks like. If there's a garbage tornado and it's right next to a landfill, I would just hop into the car with the dog and scoot over to a park that's not going to have you covered in other people's trash.
That's true. I have a feeling if you were to ask her, though, her point would be like, I think I shouldn't be driving away. I think that dump landfill place should have like measures in place, but I don't know what that could be. What we heard in that news clip, they said on a windy day, there's certain garbage they won't take. So I guess if you showed up with a truck full of like, I don't know, chip bags that would blow away in the wind easily, they'd be like, no, not today. It's too windy. But if that stuff's already there and the wind hits, it's going to blow. So how do you keep that from blowing in the neighboring properties? I guess you could have like a huge fence that's like very high or some kind of net or something. But landfills are so big that it'd be probably price and cost prohibitive to put something like that around
But shouldn't a landfill only be somewhere where there's not houses directly next door?
Sounds like you're talking on behalf of that lady you were just criticizing.
I wasn't criticizing her view on where landfills should be. I was criticizing her choice to walk there when she probably doesn't have to walk there. She can walk somewhere else.
Yeah, no, I get your point. Is this a Keep Canada Weird story, or is it just the term garbage tornado that's a Keep Canada Weird term?
Yeah, without garbage tornado, it really doesn't work. So it just kind of made it over the goalpost for us in terms of being able to focus on it in the show because, yeah, you say garbage tornado, all four of our ears perk. You know?
Yeah, you get some eyeballs on a story when you call it the garbage tornado. If the headline was something like nearby residents of landfill express concerns with pollution measures, you'd be like, no, not doing it.
No. We would never talk about that.
Woman with dog assaulted by garbage tornado.
Woman with dog refuses to walk anywhere else because she faces garbage tornadoes head on every day where she walks.
That's a headline. Let's move on to the next one. This is certainly a Keep Canada Weird story. It's a consumer complaint that involves cleaning up, and it's a doozy. Petro-Canada gas stations have been selling car wash season passes that allow customers to wash a vehicle once a day for a set period of time. But in Ontario, the limits of this offer were put to the test, resulting in Petro-Canada canceling some of these passes. And the whole thing ends up on the news. Before I play the story, though, did you know you could buy like a season pass for a car wash at a gas station? Usually you buy gas and it's like, for $10 extra, you can get a car wash.
Never knew that you could get a season pass.
Well, this isn't going to be a good ad for them. Here comes the story.
If you like to keep a clean vehicle, Petro-Canada will sell you a season's pass that will let you use the car wash every day. Voutran of Newmarket bought a 180-day season car wash pass for $490.
Well, the way to keep our car nice and clean and, basically preventing rusting from the road salt in the wintertime.
The season's pass gets a lot of use at his house. There are 4 cars in Tran's family, but he says it's allowed under the pass's terms and conditions.
We use it within the family, the same household, same address, 4 cars. And there was nowhere in the term condition that you can only wash 1 car.
He still had 80 days left when his season's pass quit working.
They canceled my car because I used multiple devices for the same car wash.
We were halfway of the usage of the card when suddenly the card was suspended.
And Abdul Karimi of Thornhill also had her 90-day pass canceled that she paid $270 for. She said the pass was only on one smartphone. She and her husband took turns washing their cars each day.
I think it's very unfair because we didn't do anything wrong.
Petro-Canada says the pass is for 1 wash per day, but in its terms and conditions, it says the card can only be loaded onto one smartphone. Petro-Canada told CTV News, car wash season passes may only be downloaded to one device. Users found to be in violation were sent a cancellation email. However, after reviewing usage on these cards, we determined the season's passes were incorrectly flagged and have reinstated them. So both Tran and Abdul Karimi were given replacement car wash passes, which was great news for them.
Thank you so much for what you did.
So this is another one of those stories where a consumer complaint gets settled by the complainer going on the news. I don't take that as a win or a settlement because most people aren't going to make it to the news. So I think let's talk about this as a story where Petro-Canada shuts down these cards and the people don't get anything out of it. Because I think they only got some kind of settlement because they ended up on the news and, they were getting calls about it. Is that fair to say for you?
Yeah, it's fair to say. Although, I got to be honest, I'm siding with Petro-Canada on this.
Well, let's talk about that. If the deal is, for this amount of time, you can get 1 car wash a day, I think that's the deal.
It is the deal. And the only reason I side with Petro-Canada is that these people are losers.
Because of the obsession with keeping...
The obsession with going to the car wash every day. It's like the fact, I don't know, I'm sorry. I apologize in advance to anybody who listens to this show and has purchased a car wash season pass.
I bet you there isn't one. I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of it either because it's so stupid. Like if you are going to the car wash every day, every second day, it's like, come on. Like you can't be a busy person.
Well, what if you were like a cab or something, like an Uber? I could see wanting to keep it clean.
That's the only excuse. Yeah. These are regular civilians, and they're just like, I want to keep the salt off of my... It's like, you're not going to have a car left if you're going every friggin' day to the car wash. Like, it's going to ruin your car.
I hate when I have salt all on the outside of my car, especially like I have a dark car, a black car, so you really see the road salt on it. What I often thought was, rather than going to the car wash and paying $10 to get all this, the bells and whistles of the car wash, I wish there was a version that was cheaper where I could just quickly drive through and it would just spray the salt off my car right quick. Like it's not spotless at the end, just, it's like a low pressure wash. Something like that I could see me using more often. Certainly not once a day. That is bordering on obsession. These are car wash fetishists. And Petro-Canada didn't want to be a party to their kinky car washing games.
Okay, yes. I was wondering when you were going to take it sexual, but I think Petro-Canada should have been honest with them. So they're like, we think that you're misusing the season pass and we would going to revoke it. Just flat out say, you know what? We didn't think that there'd be losers that would be going to the car wash every day. And so we're canceling your season pass because you're just giant losers and you need to go see a movie. You need to spend some time with your family. If you have some friends out there, you probably don't, but if you have some friends, maybe go meet some friends, meet some people, go to a singles event at a restaurant or something, or whatever. Do anything else but what you're doing with your time. You're going, if their season pass was unlimited, imagine what these people would be doing. They'd be just literally revolving door into the in and out of the car wash, in and out. It's like, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, I'm constantly in the car wash. I'm so scared of salt.
It's certainly too much. But you said, go see friends, spend some time with your family. As a father of two young children, I will tell you, both of my kids love going through the drive-through car wash. They love going in the drive-through where it's like, the green lights, like you drive up and you stop your car and the robot goes around you and cleans the whole thing. And that's what these people were paying for. So I wonder if it could be just something where these two people just enjoy the thrill of cranking your stereo. I often put on the song Hell's Bells by AC/DC and pretend it's like thunder and lightning as the car wash is just like spraying colored foam at my car.
Yeah, it's the colored foam, like the wax, because if you get the deluxe wash and wax and then you get all the different colored suds and things, that is very exciting. But if you go once a day, that's going to lose its appeal. And then what are you going to do? So
you're going to get more cars.
Yeah, but you're going to need some kind of elevated experience. After a couple of months or a year or two, you're like, you know what? It's just not doing it for me anymore.
So you roll your window down.
You go in without the car. Naked. Then it's sexual. Now it's sexual.
What about the part where you leave the car wash? And there's often a timer and you drive under a fan.
Oh, the big fans to drive. Yeah, you drive slow.
I really like to try to get my money's worth out of that part because that's really where the magic happens. Because if you get out of the car wash and you got all these droplets of water, when they dry, they don't look great. So if you can really slowly leave the car wash and get that fan to blow every bit of it off, you're going to look great coming out of there. Anyway, this has been fun. Do you think this a segment on cleaning up stories? Is this good?
I think it worked out. At face value, I had concerns about it, but
Okay.
yeah. But no, I think it worked out. It was a great way to end the show.
Let me ask you this, though. I've been trying so hard to temper my passion for celebrating the numbers. I had to mention 215 being the area code of Philadelphia. I think I said it once or twice. I'm trying to sprinkle it through the episodes a bit more. How'd I do tonight? Give me a rating.
Yeah, you did better today. It was very short off the top. You did try to jam one in there about a quarter of the way through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sports one.
It was a little abrasive, in my opinion.
It's such a balancing act because if you like, I'm the one who vets all the feedback that comes through and the correspondent contributions, and it is such a balancing act because there are people who are so for the numbers and there are people who are so against it. Let's end the show with a little bit of a demonstration. Do you want to hear someone who's for or against celebrating the numbers?
I only want to hear against.
Okay, well, you're going to like this. Here's Joanne. She's done with the numbers.
Yes.
Hi. This is Joanne, your correspondent from Calgary, Alberta. And I just want to say, please, God, stop the number nonsense. I can't take it anymore. I don't want to stop listening because of these stupid numbers. Please, Aaron, help me. Do something. That's it. Besides that, I love you guys. Bye.
Joanne ain't having it no more.
Well, I'm trying my best here, Joanne. Every week I am sounding the alarm on the numbers issue, and I'm beating them down here. Me and the other correspondents that have called in to complain, we're chipping away at this issue, and we're getting there. We're getting somewhere.
Here's the issue, though. For every Joanne who's ready to stop listening because the numbers are so awful and annoying and boring, there's someone like Elizabeth who seems born to celebrate the episode numbers. Listen to the positive feedback on the numbers segment from Elizabeth.
Elizabeth here, calling in from Tennessee, the 16th state to join the Union in 1796. 43% of Tennessee homes have at least one dog, and 33% have cats. We're home to 894,000 teenagers, aka potential puberty problems, and special drink, Mountain Dew, was invented here in 1940. I love your number segment. It's sad that Aaron is so disillusioned, but hopefully the 90-second rule will strike a happy balance. Thanks.
You can't win.
Wow. Yeah, that was an impressive voicemail because she did she did what you haven't done. And she tied numbers into specific Keep Canada Weird items.
Yeah.
Like the puberty problem, the special drinks, all of these things. So I do appreciate that, although I want nothing to do with the numbers. She did really make a good effort into trying to sell me on it.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, what Elizabeth did, it on its surface, it was a message in support of the numbers segment, but it was really like a super highbrow criticism of how I've been doing it. She just basically called in and showed me how it's done. I tried to use like this comparison between the Philly cheesesteak with our special drinks. And then we had a supportive email about Dunkin's, and I was like, sports fans in Philadelphia, 215 is their area code. Like that was, what does any of that stuff have to do with Keep Canada Weird?
Wow, it couldn't be further from the topic.
Damn.
But yeah, so I think you should lower your head in shame. Think about what you've done over the next week, and then we'll see how you feel when we do this again.
Okay. I'll think about it tonight. I'm going to start brainstorming already for 216. Who knows what area code that'll be. But our work here is done. We've had some dumb Canadian crime. We've had some stories about cleaning up. And we've set the stage for the coffee wars that are about to play out over 2027 and beyond. Let's put a bow on this, Handsome Aaron Airport.
Yeah, let's do that.
Handsome Aaron Airport, until next time.
Jordan, bus stop, backhoe, numbers, Bonaparte, until next time.
I'm going to grab one of those laser beams, the laser pens, not to shoot at planes or helicopters or anything malicious. I want to see if my sweet girl Penny will chase one because she is quite playful.
And Jordan, until next time, when you're walking through life and the wind is starting to pick up, and next thing you know, you're surrounded by garbage tornadoes, it's always good to know that after you're covered in human waste and you come home, you get to talk about the weird Canadian news stories with your friend, and everything seems all right with the world.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. Our premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes. But the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
And keep Canada weird. Please keep Canada weird.